What's happening, Donkheads? We've finally made it to the last episode of the series. I just want to say thanks to everybody who's followed this series from the very beginning, and especially thanks to everybody that's bought my sample pack. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate everyone's support on this as well. I've had a lot of inboxes and all that saying how good of a job I'm doing and stuff like that, and that's why I've done it. I've done this to help as many people as possible get started into making donk music, because it's only a small scene, isn't it? And the more people that start making this music, the better it is for the scene. So it's not just about me earning a bit of money or whatever. I mean, it is nice to have a bit of money coming in as well. But yeah, I'm doing this to actually give back to the donk community, basically, and show everyone what I can do to help. So let's get started on this episode then. So what I've done is I've saved it as a WAV. Make sure there's when you put it back into your mastering project, make sure that there's a lot of headroom here, as you can see. There's nothing touching the lines here. It's nice and empty. Like I say, you want it on round about -3 or -4 dB if possible. This is a free limiter I've got here. Everything I've used is free on this series, so it can only be free plugins as well to master. That's the best free limiter I've come across by a mile, I think. I've got this Willo loudness meter as well. This is free as well. I'll link both of these in the description, so be sure to check out the description for them too. And I've only used 2 EQs, and I've used a fruity limiter as a compressor, not as a limiter. I've completely turned the ceiling right to the top, so there's zero limiting going on at all. I'm going to go through everything now. I'm going to show you what it sounds like with and without the plugins, what I've used to master. So this is without the plugins. And then when I turn all the plugins back on, this is what it sounds like with all the plugins. Nice and loud and clean and everything that you want in a master. Now I'm going to go through a little bit with you now to show you, to tell you what a mastering session is. Hold on. I wanted a drink. Right. A mastering session is not a magic tool that's going to make a bad tune sound good. It'll make a good, well-mixed tune sound great. But if you've got a bad mix, it's not going to do anything but make it sound crap. You can't polish a turd, and it's genuinely true. What you need to do, well, what you need to realise is mastering is just slightly enhancing the whole track as a whole. You don't want to, if you're doing too much inside your mastering session, you need to go back into your tune where you've created and adjust it in there, because you can't, like I said, mastering is not a magic tool. It'll make a good mix sound amazing. Like I've just showed there, that sounds a lot better than what it did, didn't it? Nice and loud, nice and clean, everything spot on. So with the first one I've got here is a parametric EQ2, and all I've done is rolled off to 30 Hz. Have a look in the corner here. Rolled it off at 30 Hz and rolled it off at around 17,000, just past 17,000. The human ear can't really hear them frequencies, so you cut them out and it makes it even better for when you're mastering, because it gets it louder and it's nice and clean. Now, if you see my other EQ here, I've hardly done anything. I've only boosted it a little tiny bit. What are these? 0.6 on that one. And 0.5 on that one. And a little tiny bit here and there. This one here, I've boosted at 2.5. But if you look where it is, it's at 15,000 hertz. So you're not going to be able to hear much. But it's just brightening up the whole mix by a little tiny bit. That's all I've done for the EQ on that. Because that's all I've felt it needed. Like I said, if you need to do more than that, you need to go back inside your mix and fix it inside there before you master. As I said before on this, I'm not using this as a limiter. I'm using it as a compressor. So I've turned the ceiling all the way to the top so it's not doing anything. And I'm using the compressor on this. I'm on 2 dB gain. I've got a little tiny bit of saturation, I think. Yeah, I forgot to put it on. A little tiny bit. So it's just doing a little tiny bit. I've got the threshold at minus 3.5. I've got a hard knee. Because what a hard knee is like what I've read up on it anyway. It's so you can, if you're mastering, you want it as flat as possible. Because you're compressing the whole mix, aren't you? So you want the line as flat as you can get it. I've got a 2.1 ratio. I've got a little tiny bit of attack, 0.64 milliseconds and 1.82 milliseconds of release as well. I've got the tiniest little bit of sustain, so it's just not on 0 dB. And that is basically all I've done for the compression. So if I'll turn the limiter off, this is what it sounds like with the EQ and the compression. As you can hear, it's very nice and tidy. It's all squashed together nicely, as the term's called glue. It's glued together nicely because of the compression. And now, we'll talk about this Ulian meter here. Now, I use this on every single one of my tracks. It's to test how loud your track actually is. I tend to go for about 7 dB in loudness. Because that's a very good dB for a club level. And you don't, on your true peak here, you don't want to go past 1 dB or you'll start distorting. So that's the aim, to go no further than 1 dB on here. And 7 dB is great. If you can get it a bit louder, that's totally up to you. But I think you just end up squashing all the dynamics in your track. So I just like to keep it on 7. It's well loud enough. Right, so let's see how loud it is now before we limit, and then we'll see. We'll have a look at limit and then next. Okay, so the loudest part of our track is only minus 11.5. I'm on only 0.3 dB over, so that's fine. So now what we need to do is bring out our bad boy here. This is the best free limiter I've found, by the way, as well. So we'll stick it on 0 and make sure your out is at minus 0.1 dB. Everyone does it. Everyone I've come across on YouTube and all that, and all my courses I've took, that's what everybody does. So I do it. That's simple as, isn't it? Right, let's put the limiter on. Let's see what we can do here. We want to get it to minus 7, don't we? On the loudest part of your track. So let's hear it. That's spot on, that. It's even higher than -7. And we're on 1 GB. And it's nice and loud now, nice and crisp, nice and glued together, nice and everything. I really like the sound of that. Now, just to finish it off, you can automate the volume. Go right to the end of your track. Let's see. Go right to the end. Where it finishes, right click, and then bring it down. And it will finish professionally then. So let's hear it. Perfect. So yeah, there's our track. So then you file, export, wave, save it to the desktop or wherever. Call it whatever you want to call it. Make sure you've got 512 point sync, whatever that means. It just means the quality of your music. You want to have it as high as you can. I keep it on 24 these days for me waves. And hit start. You can try it with different as well, see if it sounds any better. Do two. Save it twice. Do one with and one without different. See which one you like better. And there it is. There's your bounce track. We've made this together. Thanks to everybody who's followed with my sample pack. It means a lot. Yeah, it does. It means a lot that you've actually took your time out of your hard-earned money and spent it on my music, on my pack. Thanks to everyone that's followed this series as well. And thanks to everyone that's subscribed to me. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to me. It would really help me get to the 1,000 mark. That's my goal next. I've got a podcast coming out tomorrow. It'll be streamed live on my YouTube at 6 p.m. So please look out for that. Tune in if you can. I've got DJ Scott Williams coming on with me. He's a fellow skemhead. He's a good lad. I've known him for years. And he's got a nice story to tell as well. So, yeah, tune into that. Thanks everybody again for following this series. And I'll see you on my next video. See you later.
Drop the bass.